Oh, that was a good pop, wasn't it? Ah, well, good evening, darlings, and we are we're on, aren't we? And a very warm welcome to. Oh, it's Wednesday. A very warm welcome to Wednesday night. God, it's so cold. Oh, have you been doing, darlings? How are you doing now? Are you warm? Is your home warm? Which room are you in? Are you all done up with 59 million layers of clothing? What temperature have you got your central heating set to, or are you not a central heating person? Do you have a wood burner or a log stove or an open fire, or are you huddled around a old school Cali gas heater like we used to have back in the day that stank the place out? Let me know. Do let me know. Well, good evening, darlings, and I hope you've had a lovely day. Oh, I've got a dreadful headache, and I've got toothache, and I don't know if it's the cold or what. Oh dear. I'm hoping that wine will help. And tonight I am drinking a. Well, it's another gift, and this is a gift from work. And this was a gift for Diwali, and it's Terras de Viriato. Um, it's got lots of things on it that seem to indicate that it's Portuguese. Oh, there you are. It's a Portuguese wine, and it's got. Well, let's give it a bash, shall we? I mean, it's got alcohol in it, so we can't go too far wrong. Let's see. Hmm. What do you reckon? That's quite a dark white, isn't it? Would you not agree? Oh, 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 dear. Gosh. Oh well, it's giving me the warmth in the old Derby Kelly, but that's an unusual taste. It doesn't have. Oh, it kind of doesn't have an immediate taste. It tastes of. This is gonna. I don't know how to describe this. I don't know the right words. It tastes of no taste, but then it has an aftertaste, and it's unusual. Ah, I'm not sure about that. No, no, it doesn't grab me like the Pinot that I have been drinking over the last few nights that Joe introduced me to. Bless him. I mean, at the moment, I'm drinking stock. I'm drinking wine that I've got on the booze stand rather than wine that I'm going out and buying and choosing. Oh, excuse me. Um, Partly because I just can't be asked to go to the shop, and partly because it needs drinking, and partly because I'm a little bit skint at the moment, darlings. But hey ho, right? God, it's doing weird things to me. I can tell you that. Hmm. I mean, it's not wholly unpleasant, but it's not hitting the normal taste spots that I enjoy. Hey ho, Dan Peters is here. Hello, Mr. Boaty, sir. Hope your day's been good. It's been a very cold one for myself, but needs must in terms of salary. It's absolutely bloody freezing. I mean, it was sunny earlier on here, but it's been cold all day. Anything that didn't see the sun is just sheer ice. It's about -4 here at the moment, -4, -5, something like that. It is properly cold. And I did something very, very silly. I mean, you know that I always go to work over the tops, don't I? Come rain, come shine, come snow. It's it's just what I do. And for some bit stupid, bizarre reason, I took Minge back tonight. The worst night of weather, the worst roads we've had so far this season. And I take a modified MGTF mid-engine rear-wheel drive skittish little thing. Must have been mad. Tomorrow, I've covered all of this in the daily diary. Tomorrow, Land Rover. It's Land Rover weather here, darlings, and that's what I bought the bloody thing for. So let's use it, shall we? Hello, all, says Carlos Fandango. Oh my God, I'm so drunk. I'll be mostly quiet unless Cheeseburger shows up. And Carlos needs to order cat food, and apparently it's complicated. Simone is here. Hello, Boaty. Steve Colg is here. Barry's here. Bad Books is here. Cheeseburger is here. The boat doesn't look as sad tonight. No, Skick. I mean, yeah, no. I mean, oh God, it's human nature, human spirit, isn't it? I mean, you can't overtly grieve forever. There's a focal point that will last X amount of time where the thing is forefront and foremost in your mind all of the time and dictates your mind, and then something will happen so that it will gradually fade a little, or there'll be. I mean, that's part of the reason for having a funeral, isn't it? I think that the idea is that you get some form of closure so that you don't overtly grieve in the forefront of your mind forever and ever and ever. I mean, you have a period of time where you grieve and you come to grips with the fact that your loved one, whoever it happens to be, has passed. And then you have the funeral where you wail and cry and say your goodbyes. And then you have a wake, which I think is a jolly healthy thing, where you all get drunk and eat and reminisce about the fun bits, the good bits, all of that. And once that's over and done with, then there's always something, it never completely goes away. Of course it doesn't. But you crack on, don't you? What else can you do in life? What else can you do other than crack on? I mean, as you know, in terms of family and nearest and dearest, I've lost everybody. My siblings, my parents, all gone. And, I'm always aware of that, and it's always there in my mind, and I miss all of them every day. But it's not forefront and foremost because you crack on. What else can you do? You crack on. But good evening to you, Skick. And thank you for the comment that you left on the video, by the way. I haven't replied to any comments yet, but I have read them. So thank you to everybody who's commented on the video. Jimmy Quinn is here. Good evening, Boaty and all. Looks like he's popped a cork a few times, says Bread Books. Oh, hello. Cheeseburger's at it again. Yes, it's a not the 9 o'clock news reference from Cheeseburger. I can't get enough of these. Evening, Carlos, he says. Careful opening that tin of kanga chunks. You might take your finger off. Now, I know exactly what that is in relation to, so let's go for it, Cheesy. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and tonight we're going to ask the important question, does God exist? And I will direct that question to my guest, the very reverend, whoever it was. Thank you. Well, my answer is going to be predictably simple, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, God exists. Excuse me. Oh, a question from the audience. If there is a God up there controlling things, why does he allow people doing a good turn to get hurt? Ah, yeah, that old chestnut. Well, we're all sinful in a way, aren't we? Speak for yourself, Padre. But we will all ultimately be rewarded in heaven. And so on and so on. I got this open into cat food, ladies and gentlemen. I don't even like the bloody moth-eating thing. But I opened this tin of kanga chunks and nearly cut my bloody finger off. Now, why? Well, God really can't be expected to look at to look after everybody opening a tin of cat food. Well, I think the point is God can't be everywhere. Yes, he can. He's omnipresent, for God's sake. Look, God loves us all. He doesn't seem to love me very much. Well, amazingly, he does. It's me who can't stand the sight of you. I'm reminded of the parable of the 7 virgins. 6 of them were wise and used their tin openers diligently, but the 7th was a clumsy, loud-mouthed virgin who, hang about, you're making that up. Oh, classic. Oh, dear. Hey, Boaty, hey, chat, says John Stoodley. Simone says the boiler is off, wrapped in dressing gown on the sofa with Georgia, who is probably a cat, I think. What, the boiler is off? It's freezing, Simone. Why is it off? Is it broken? It's proper cold tonight and damp too, says John Moretti. Rover Joe. Rover Joe. Come on, everybody. You know what we do when Rover Joe comes? Everybody give him the big old virtual hug. Rover Joe. Oh, don't tickle him. He'll wet himself. Just hug him. And no tongues. How are you, Joe? Thanks for being here. Connie is due out of hospital on Friday, says Simone. Oh, that's good. Cheeseburger says the boiler goes off at 9 o'clock. God. I'm stood in front of an electric heater in the conservatory. Posh bastard with your conservatory. Carlos says, evening, General. Tonight I've tasted some fine mango spicy sauces from the Amazon. Believe it or not, I ate at a beef eater on Friday and it wasn't shit. And they had a mango sauce that was to die for. I need to eat at a beef eater. I have got 2 vouchers. I've got 2 beef eater vouchers and they need to be used. And there is a beef eater, 30 seconds up the road from me. Oh, shit. But I feel awkward about going and eating there because I've got the voucher because of a complaint I made about them. But thank you for reminding me that I need to go to a beef eater. There was a very happy period when beef eaters were great. I mean, and I'm not going way, way back. I'm going back a couple of years when they introduced the Rewards Club and they had a really good £5 lunchtime day menu. And me and Boo and Little Miss, we used to go there quite a lot because it was genuinely really quite good. And we even used to go on a Sunday for the Sunday lunch. And then after I split up with Boo, I didn't go at all. And then I went with Neil and Joe and Sophie, and it was All right. It was all right. But it wasn't as good as it was. And the menu's all changed. And the menu's not as good. And it's all a bit more expensive. Oh, hello. Speaking of Joe. Joe says, I can't stay tonight and enjoy the live. I need an early night. I've got my bus theory test tomorrow. Eek! Have a fab evening up. Good luck, Joe. Good luck. You'll bollock it, mate. You'll absolutely nail it. I'm certain of it. Because I know you. You'll have done your homework and you'll have done it thoroughly. And you'll be absolutely fine. You were born to drive a bus. Nothing is going to get in the way of you and your public transport destiny, young fella, my lad. So you come back tomorrow night and let us know that you nailed it. There's a good chat. The boiler's just gone off until 6 a.m., says Brad Bucks. How do you do it? Oh, nasty after tasty whining. How do you put your boilers on? I've just turned my heating up, for God's sake. I mean, I left it at that radiator. It's lovely and warm there. Oh, hello. I'm not drunk, I promise. I left the thermostat on 19 degrees. And when I came in, I whacked it up to 20.5 because it's bloody cold and I don't like being bloody cold. I like to be warm. And I know I'm poor, but I work bloody hard enough. I refuse to be cold. I'd go without food rather than freeze my ass off. Fortunately, this cottage isn't too bad because, as cottages go, I suppose it's a relatively largish one, is it? Well, it's not tiny. It's definitely not tiny. But it's got the massive stone walls, so it's got like natural insulation, and it's not that difficult to keep warm. Unlike the flat. Now, darlings, the flat. Actually, I'll get through the comments and then I'll talk about the flat. Best of luck, Joe. Oh, hello. Best of luck, Joe. Good luck with your test, Joe. Andrew's here. Very good evening, Boaty and everyone. People saying hello to each other, which is lovely. Best of luck with the theory test tomorrow from Bad Books. That wine sounds like the kind of crap you get as a cheap house wine. Fuck off, cheeseburger. That wine sounds like the kind of crap you get as a cheap house white at a second-rate Boaty house. You bastard. You bastard. It is our it's our current house wine. It's our current house wine because the ex-manager, the manager that finally, using what influence I had, I managed to get rid of after he ruined our business over the space of about a year. God almighty, I wish I could have got rid of him in the first week. It's a wine that he ordered. Not too bad. And it's not supposed to be a house wine. It's not priced as a house wine, but we're using it as a house wine. Now, the red, which I can't drink, the red is apparently very decent. And this would probably be okay to somebody who's used to drinking bloody Chenin Blanc or something frightful. Actually, I think we've used all the white up now, thinking about it. I think the house white is actually back to a half decent Chardonnay, if there is such a thing. We've got a really good wine list, actually. I've tweaked the wine list. We've got some good stuff on there now. How are you today, John? Asked Cheeseburger. And that's a good question, John. I think we'd all like to know that. Hello. Mustard's here. Hello, etc. Project Nigel. Hey all, says Ross. I have a policy on drinks. If it's on the house, it gets drunk. Fair enough. And Cheeseburger asks the obvious question, Ross, does that include you? Yeah, I imagine he gets drunk as well, yeah. Uh, John's not too bad today. That's good. He's just taking it easy, and of course, it's the big day tomorrow for John. It's the appointment with his consultant, so he will hopefully get some insights, some answers, and there will be a plan for going forward. So let's hope so. Um, we've all got our fingers crossed for you, John. We're all with you. Just trying to get the alcohol to where the toothache is. 0 degrees here, says by books. White out frost and clear moonlit sky. Owls hooting in the farmyard. God, that sounds quite idyllic, doesn't it, actually? I love a hooting owl. Now, when I was living at the cabbage patch with Boo and Little Miss, we had an owl, we had a local owl that I called Hooty. And he used to, I swear to God, he used to go to the pub down in the village because he used to come back at about midnight or half past midnight. Oh dear. Excuse me. Hooting his arse off down by the river because we were right by the river, our cottage. The River Derwent. If any of you know Matlock Bath, then you will probably know Masson Mill. So if you're coming into Matlock Bath from the Cromford side, not from the Matlock side, then as you're going into Matlock Bath, there's a massive mill on your right-hand side. And our cottage was directly opposite that on a little steep private lane. And it was one of the British Heritage Site cottages. They were the cottages that were originally attached to the mill, and they had a heritage order on them. And yeah, the owl used to come every night, midnight, half past midnight, about the time when I was outside having a fag with a glass of vodka, if it was before I gave that up, or a glass of wine in my hand. And actually, via Facebook or social media generally, I built up a whole thing about that owl. I built up a whole Captain Beaky thing where I invented a whole, because where our cottage was, if this is the cottage here, then you've got the road and then the mill and the river down there. And then at the back of the cottage, there's just a very steep set of steps going into the forest up the side of the hills. And of course, there were all sorts of noises and whatnot. And when I was, if Boo went to bed early, and of course Little Miss would have been well in bed, then I used to spend those quiet times coming up with a whole intricate story of basically Hooty the Owl was like a mafia don, and he was running a protection. Well, I won't go into it all, but you had to do something of that. I miss those days. I quite miss the cabbage patch. Although after Boo and I started talking again quite recently, it's just gone quiet over the last few weeks. But after we started properly talking again and catching up, I've missed the cabbage patch quite dreadfully, but I'm not missing it now. And Boo's actually trying to move out, desperately trying to move out, and actually trying to move to Ripley, where the restaurant is. It's always the way, isn't it? Couple of neighbours, and they're making her life an absolute misery. They were a bit of a pain in the ass when I was there. Maybe I was, maybe me just being there calmed it down a little bit. I don't know. Would that make sense? If there's a big old bloke there, then you're probably less likely to cause shenanigans. Whereas if it's just a woman and kids, then maybe they're going to be a bit more alpha male and a bit more aggressive about it. I mean, the one of them, he did have. He was a bit of a drinker, bless him, and a mixed martial artist of some sort. And there was a night I didn't have a problem with him, and he didn't have a problem with me. He had a problem with this guy further up the lane, and one night he was drunk. Oh, he'd certainly had a drink, and he was shouting the odds and calling this guy out and blah blah blah. Oh, he properly wanted to rip his head off, and the other guy, very sensibly wasn't having anything to do with it. And this is all, and then it's all kind of kick, and we're getting involved. It's kicking off outside the cottage, and it wasn't that late. Jess was still up, and I thought, I'm not having this. I'm not having this. So I kind of pulled outside and said, oi, oi, leave it out, leave it out, not happening. Shut up, get off. And he'd had a drink, and he's sort of saying, "Oh God, if you're going to side with him, you and I are going to fall out, and I'll do this and I'll do that." And I said, "We'll talk about this tomorrow, son, but I've got a kid in there. I'm not having this. Fuck off." And it kind of calmed down a bit. And the next day, I had a word, and I said, "Look, I don't care how hard you think you are, and I don't care if violence is your answer to anything. Don't ever, ever fucking threaten me. Big mistake. Trust me." And that was that. Never happened again. But it sounds like it's a nightmare now. So yeah, Boo's trying to get out of there. Where did I get to? Internet vis Wongtai Internet vis Wongtai. Oh, not sure about that. The worst grief for me, says Simone, was my gran and my cat. Both were horribly painful. Oh, John, bless you. We're all still here for you, mate. That's really kind. Oh, that's a good question from Cheeseburger. How's your friend, John? I'm not drinking today, says Jimmy. I'm getting over COVID. Good man. Oh, good John Major impression. Thank you, Simone. It wasn't John Major, but yeah, it was kind of that. This is my John Major impression. Imagine me all grey. Lovely peas, Norma. Oh, dear. An invisible man in the sky did not create the universe, insists Barry. Well, not an invisible man. No, it was God. So, and he's not invisible. I've seen a picture of him. Carlos says, I didn't understand any of the religious nonsense. That's fair enough. It was a not the 9 o'clock news sketch, and one of the better ones. Have a great night, everyone, says Andrew. He's got to get off to work. Oh, Joe's good. Excellent. That's splendid. There's a beef eater not far from me too. Not been there in years, says Simone. I only go to the beef eater with a voucher. It's expensive otherwise. That's Cheeseburger, and I agree. Do a Rover impression pick, Joe, in the green. I'll buy one. There you go, Joe. Steve Colg is a customer. I bet Mustard is glad he kept the caravan now. Got to have a warm place, says Skip. I don't know how much he uses it when I'm not there, to be honest. I mean, I know he does the very odd live stream from there, but Mustard is quite a hardy soul. He seems to be okay with hanging out in the yard. I mean, I know that he will. I don't think the caravan is his go-to place, to be honest, because that's not him. I think when the yard is really cold, he just sits in a car and, I don't know, edits a video or has a snooze or does whatever. I mean, he rang me today and he said he'd retreated to a car because it was just too cold. Hopefully, obviously the yard has undergone a bit of a reorganisation, which needs to continue a little bit. And when we can get the caravan in what we consider to be its proper place, and a few people have suggested this on both mine and Mustard's videos. Indeed, somebody suggested it only yesterday or this morning. When we can get the caravan down where we want it to be and we can set it up with a proper mains hookup and whatnot, then hopefully it can become a little, because I mean, Mustard, bless him. Okay, you need to be productive. The yard needs to be productive. He needs to be productive. He's got to earn a living at the end of the day. That's his living. But when it's that fiercely cold, I think you're absolutely right, Skick. You do need somewhere to retreat to, just to get yourself warm for 20 minutes or half an hour or an hour's lunch break or whatever. You know, it's soul destroying to be out there in the freezing cold all day, especially if you're getting wet and trying to wash cars and stuff. Yeah, if we can get the caravan hooked up to the mains, then you know, we can make that into a nice little, I don't know, sales office, hangout place, chill out bar, just a respite really from the weather. It'll be shielded from the weather down where we want it to be. When it's got electricity in there, mains electricity rather than just the leisure battery, then we can put a microwave in there and or a kettle or an electric heater and make sure that it is a reasonable little environment. I mean, it's a pretty tiny caravan. In the grand scheme of things, it doesn't take up all that much room. And yeah, I mean, I was, as you know, I was insistent that keeping it was the right thing, not just for me on the few hours a week that I'm there, but I think Mustard needs it. And I think he should embrace it as part of the yard and make it a little bit different from the rest of it. It should be a little oasis of organized peace and tranquility that Mustard can retire to, just to keep his sanity and his health. Because I mean, he's a bit poorly today. I don't know if I'm telling secrets there, but yeah, he's got a bit of a virus or something that's knocking him about. I saw online today, and from what appeared to be a reliable source, that I don't know if any of you lot have seen this, but apparently there's some sort of super cold going around. And it's been going around for 6 weeks, 6 or 8 weeks, like around the UK. But it's some sort of super cold. I mean, I wonder if it's a new variant of COVID or something. But yeah, it's like a super cold, and people are being ill with 3 weeks from it. But it's not like COVID symptoms, it's like cold symptoms. Your sinuses are fucked up, um, you know, a bit of a headache, cough, whatever. And apparently it's lasting for 3 weeks. It's quite a nasty one. And, you know, loads and loads of people are on social media talking about it. So I wonder if Mustard's copped for that. I mean, I've been a little bit under the weather for, well, probably for about 3 weeks, actually, mentioning that. No, I mean, I can't afford to be ill. I can't afford to have time off work, and I can't afford to indulge myself with illness. So, so there's never a black or white thing. There's never a thing where, oh, I'm ill, I'm not going to work, or I'm doing this or whatever. Then I'm always well enough to, oh, have I got a wine turd? I have to be well enough to go to work, but sometimes I'm not. And yeah, the last 3 weeks, thinking about it, my sinuses have been a bit dodgy. I've been little bit sneezy, a bit sniffy. I've got the taste. Oh, this isn't going to sound nice. I apologize. But again, this is something that's been mentioned on social media posts. I've been a bit mucusy. Do you know what I mean? When you've got that, whatever it is, the glands are secreting mucus or something, and you've got like a permanent taste of ugh. I mean, it's not a nice thing to talk about, but I hadn't thought about that. I tend not to think about being ill. I tend not to think about because at my age and with, I'm sure many of you lot are the same. We've all got bloody chronic problems, and something's hurting. And there's just well, with me, the way that I think about it is there are only like two settings. I mean, like I say, being properly ill and not going to work, that's not an option. I can't afford to miss a night, really. Um, so you've got two elements of illness. You've got the well, you're either perfectly okay and you don't think about it at all, or you think, oh, this is a bit painful, or that's a bit painful, or I'm feeling a little bit meh, and you just crack on with it. Or you've got the serious illness where you think, I'm going to take some painkillers, and then you crack on with it. Where did I get to? Cheeseburger says, Jimmy, everyone I know who's had COVID recently has been rough with it. British Racing Green, asked Rover Joe. Not sure what that's in reference to. Oh, okay, there's a conversation going on that I've managed to miss. Oh, no. Bugger. Okay, John. I just received a text back from my friends. At 9 p.m. tonight, he sadly passed away. Life is so cruel. He was a great friend, and I will miss him. Now I'm crying. Oh, John, I'm so sorry. Oh, I'm so sorry, mate. Oh, dear me. Dear, oh dear. Oh, gosh. Oh, what can you say? Let's hope that it was a quick and painless end, and all love and strength to his nearest and dearest. And of course, that includes you, John. Um, yeah, he was your best mate by the sound of it. You shared a caravan together. Um, so, oh God, well, clearly I feel that pain. John, I'm really, really sorry. Oh, you didn't need that, did you, mate? A question from Skick, and I don't think this is aimed at me. What age would your perfect partner be, and would someone older put you off? I'm sure that's not aimed at me. Who's that aimed at? Not sure. Maybe Simone? Or is it? No, it can't be aimed at me, surely. Just in case, what age would my perfect partner be? I don't know. Not a clue. Whatever age she was, wouldn't really matter too much, but let's say 40. 40 would be nice. And would someone older put you off? Yes. But I'm sure that wasn't aimed at me. My perfect partner, says Cheeseburger, would be under 18, but I would, of course, never have met them. Yours, Prince Andrew. See, I wouldn't do the much younger thing. I did the much younger thing with Chinese Madam, didn't I? And look how that ended up. Put my back out. Now, somewhere in the 40s would be nice for me. Not 30s, because they'd be too close to their sexual peak. And I've discovered that I'm so far past mine that I can't cope with a woman firing on all sexual cylinders. Well, I can. I can cope with them very happily, just not 3 times a day, every day. Thank you very much. 40 would be nice. I'd go for 40. Joe says, my parents both had COVID about 3 weeks ago, and very bizarrely, I did not get it, and I live in the same house. I was totally unaffected by it. Very strange. Oh, of course you did, Carlos. Oh my God, Cheeseburger, you went there. Of course you did. There's always one person that will go there, and it's always Cheeseburger. That is why he's the ultimate grandmaster of shithousery. Oh, you deleted the Jimmy Savile one. Thank you. Well done. James Wilson is with us. How's hello all? How's everyone? And yeah, we're all just sending a bit of love to John, bless him, whose best friend has passed away. My God. Oh, I suppose after all of those strokes and then a heart attack, I suppose the writing was on the wall, but you always hope for the best, don't you? Super cold sounds about right, says Mustard. Struggling with my voice all day and feeling knackered. Still have my appetite though. Yeah. Let me guess, Mustard. Istanbul today, was it? Maybe with some samosas from International Chippy for starters and dessert. What day is it? Wednesday. So you wouldn't have been with you wouldn't have been with Senior Mustard. So I mean, it was definitely Istanbul yesterday. I imagine you went to Istanbul again today, and you got a takeaway curry, and you got some samosas from International Chippy as well, because you're feeling a bit under the weather. Samosas might help. He did actually, didn't he, Bad Books? Captain, says Bad Books, you sounded a bit husky on the car moving video. Thought it was a microphone. I didn't notice that when I watched it last night, but I watched it again today. See, I watch his videos twice. He doesn't watch any of mine all the way through, but then they are rubbish, so that's understandable. And when I watched it today, I thought, oh, actually, it was after I spoke to him on the phone, and then I watched the video again. I didn't watch all of it. I watched the beginning bit, and I thought, yeah, you don't sound right. You don't sound well. And if you're sickening for something, or if you've got something coming on, the last thing that he needed was that day yesterday of trying to shift shit around. Hey ho, has to be done, doesn't it? No takeaways this week. Oh my goodness me. And right, well, what can we say to John? What can we say to John? And dear me. Dear me. They kind of aren't words really, are they? We're all just so sorry, John. It never rains but that it pours. And John says it's made him a bit frightened about what his consultant might say tomorrow. Again, that's natural. Well, look, you get to see your consultant tomorrow, and as far as I'm aware, you've been okay for the last few days. Let's hope that they can find. Well, let's hope they can find a way forward for you. I mean, you've had a positive. You you had a clot. It's been removed. And let's hope that there can be a positive way forward for whatever else the consultant is going to talk to you about. Oh well, this is a backwards compliment from Skik. Not all of your videos are rubbish. Some are great. And actually, I'll take that, Skik. I will take that because I am fully aware that some of my videos are dreadful. And I'm completely aware of that. And I'm fine with anybody pointing it out because I know myself. Um, it, it's just the way I've chosen to do things. I've chosen to be in your face all the time, always there. And some of it is not great. And I know that perfectly well. But I decided that I just wanted to get stuff out there all the time. And I know that some of them are pants. And I know that historically, when I knew less about what I was doing, I knew they genuinely were pretty much all pants. But it's kind of you to say that some of them are great. And I think that some of them are, to be honest. I think that when the stars align, I can put out a good video. I loved my video on the Jag. I liked my video on the Land Rover. This wine is doing terrible things to my digestive system. Oh, his name was Ray. That's nice to put a name to him. Well, bless you, Ray. Rest easy. Oh dear. It's how life becomes when you get to a certain age, doesn't it? There's just there are these moments of sadness all around, and it does get to you. I mean, I mentioned last night or the night before, when you get to an age where your friends are dropping like flies around you, you think, shit, well, when's it going to be my turn? And that's kind of a bit like life generally. I mean, right, we're all born, and regrettably, the cycle of life, we're all going to die. We're all going to return to the particles from which we were made. Um, and how do you deal with that? How do you cope with that? That's a question that's been asked throughout the ages, and you can go many ways with it. You can come up with, oh, call it what you will, a fairy story, some people will call it. You can come up with a religion which makes sense of it all, and you are born for this reason, and when you die, you go to heaven. And, you know, it's a way of saying it's okay. You never really, yeah, okay, you die on earth, but you live forever and you're reunited with all your friends and your pets and all of that sort of thing. That's one way. Of course, the Jean-Paul Sartre and the existential nihilists, they kind of went down the route of saying, well, if you're born randomly and you die inevitably, then life is just pointless. So why bother? You might as well just top yourself. And I never got on board with that idea. I mean, that really is a bit bleak, isn't it? So how do you make sense of it? And I've got no answers. All I can do is tell you what I think. Um, Life is by definition tragic because it is finite. However good or bad life is, it's finite. We're all going to fall off the twig. And that means that because we live surrounded by life, then that means that our family, our spouse, our children, our pets, everything that we love and we care about, they are finite too. And that makes things most awfully difficult, doesn't it? Because everybody and everything that you love, whether it's life or a person or a dog, either you're going to snuff it or they are. And if you go down that road, that's such an incredibly depressing thought that you simply can't cope with it. You can't deal with it, and it all just seems pointless. My slant on it is that life is random. The world can be a beautiful place. Being human, being alive, not just human, because animals too. It can be a beautiful thing. It can be a beautiful experience. It can be heartbreaking, of course, but it can be beautiful. So, my view is that the random gift of life, and I apologize for being so heavy, the random gift of life is indeed that it's a gift. And you just have to take it. Yeah, it's finite. So, enjoy it while you can. And back to the mantra that I keep saying, take joy out of every day because you only get a certain number and you don't know when your number is up. It's not like we're on Logan's Run where we're all going to be whatever it was. I never really watched it. I'm aware of it. But I think they all got, oh, they had another word for it. They had a euphemism, but they all got killed when they reached a certain age, didn't they? Some sort of mass euthanasia. We don't know. We don't know when our number's going to be up. Neither do we know when the number is going to be up of those people around us that we care about. So make every day count. Don't necessarily count every day, but make every day count. And I'm not saying live it like it's your last day on earth, because then if you were going to be literal about it, then you'd be lying in a hospital bed with a morphine drip into one of your main arteries. Just don't miss any opportunity for joy. And like I said last night on the live and on the daily diary, which some of you will have seen, the rest of you will see tomorrow, don't take anything or anybody for granted because life's going to come along and kick you up the arse. So anytime that you can enjoy it, do enjoy it. And if there's joy to be had, grab it, grab hold of it. Don't let life pass you by because it's too precious. And if life has given you a bit of shit, I mean, and it will have, all of us, we've all lost people, we've all had tragedy. Don't go down the road of thinking that you just live the rest of your life being miserable. Yeah, okay, life's given you shit. You've lost somebody that you love. They no doubt didn't want to die, they'd rather be alive. Something awful has happened, but don't mean that, don't live in misery because of that. Take joy instead. Because, oh, well, let's put it this way, right? If you coughed it, somebody that you loved and who loved you spent the rest of their life in misery and you were somehow aware of it on another spectral plane, would you not be pissed off? And would you not want to say to them, fuck that, right? It's bad enough that I'm dead. Don't you go giving up on life when you don't need to. Enjoy yourself. Cook your favorite meal. Go climb a mountain and watch the sun come up with champagne. I don't know. I'm just babbling on now, aren't I? That's true, Skick. I do indeed use persistence. Yes, I nag you into it. That's why you've got over 6K subscribers. Probably is. It probably is. It's God knows I've been persistent. Cheeseburger says the 1st of December 2022. Was it? The 1st of December 2022 was Boaty's 1,000 subs Celebration Live. God, was it? Was it really? God, so it was a year ago that I got bloody hell. Well, this year has flown, hasn't it? I was thinking about this actually when I was driving home because this year really has flown. I was trying to think about what's changed and thinking about cars first. I was trying to think what cars have come along this year, and there's been quite a few. Wet Leg, Minge Bag, Miss Boo, Sir Richard and Lady Morris. Anyone? Or is that it? So yeah, 4 cars on the fleet this year. That's not a bad year, is it? Who else is there? Sheatham was already there. Brian was already there. Stigbert was already there. Am I missing one? Maybe I'm not. Good evening, Mr. Boaty, sir, says Buddy Scrotter. And I had the enormous pleasure of meeting Mr. Buddy Scrotter unexpectedly. I didn't know I was going to. I met him on Monday, and he's a jolly nice chap. He's a very nice chap, actually. I didn't know he'd rocked up to the yard on Monday and took a car for Mustard to review and whatnot. And unfortunately, kind of bad timing, really. Well, I mean, he had loads of time with Mustard, but Mustard and I were on a really short day and we had a couple of jobs to do. So I didn't get to spend as much time hanging out with Mr. Barry Scrotter, who did explain that his name was originally supposed to be something along the lines of Harry Potter and somehow ended up as Barry Scrotter. And we accidentally wrote a song for him in honor of Barry's shit piece. So I'm sorry that it was all a bit rushed and not as long and drawn out. I mean, ideally, when somebody rocks up to the yard who's a subscriber of Mustard or me, or ideally both of us, then we like to wring the necks out of it and have lunch and do all sorts of things. But yeah, Monday just wasn't the day. It was Mustard's daughter's birthdays. We had a car to pick up. I had a car to swap over. We had to go and collect 2 cars. Oh, good lad, John. Pardon me while I just read that. I've decided I'm definitely keeping the caravan, says John, as a mark of respect to my friend, and it's my safe place from home. I'm due to go there at Easter to open up for the season, so I will never forget my friend Ray. That's rather lovely, isn't it? And it's nice you've got that joint thing that was there was a part of you both, and he will live on in that caravan, no doubt. I'm a little bit jealous. I'd love to have a caravan on the coast. Well, I've got half of a caravan in the car yard. I can't complain, can I? Gosh. And it's time to start saying our good nights, my lovely. It's about to hit midnight, and I'm struggling a bit tonight. It's been super cold today, but really, I'm just as Skip pointed out in the comment that yesterday to drive 150 odd mile to a funeral, then to go through the kind of emotional element of a funeral and then a wake, and then to drive back, go straight to work and do a full shift at work, and then come home and do a live stream. He said, that's quite a thing. And I suppose it was. I didn't think about it at the time, but looking back, I suppose it is. And today I'm kind of it's kind of a bit of a recovery day, so I am a bit knackered, and it's cold, and we should all get snuggled up in bed and keep warm and cozy. And John, oh John, bless you. Oh, bless you. What age was Ray, John? I know that there's never a good age to die, because as Richard Pryor said when he was in hospital after his heart attack, and the guy next door to him died. And the nurse kind of said, well, he was 89. He had a good innings. And Richard Pryor said, well, fuck that. You might have wanted to be 90. So there is never a good age. But I suppose I was talking about this at work today to Ram. Oh, I was going to tell you about the flat. I'll have to do that tomorrow now. There is some potential flat news, and I've got pictures to show you. And we'll have to do it tomorrow. It's too late. Oh, he was 60. Oh, well. Oh, was that 60 or 80? Hold on. 60. So very similar to my friend Rob then, who was 61. And it's too young. It is too young. But in the grand scheme of things, at least they'd had a life. I mean, you don't have to go too far back into history where the average life expectancy was a lot less than 60. So, tragic as it is, it's at least he'd had a life, John, and he'd had your friendship, but I know that doesn't really mitigate it. Right, where do we get to? Yeah, so say good night, guys. I'm not really with it tonight. I'm kind of running on fumes. Can you tell? I wouldn't have this again, to be honest. Black lines. I just want to get to an age where my kids can look after themselves adequately without me being here. That makes sense. Oh, but not Cheeseburger, who says black lines. That will make it the oldest human on the planet. That's the thing, isn't it? We all rely on our parents, no matter how old we are. We all rely on our parents until we can't anymore. I'm no exception. I relied on my parents right up until the moment that they each went. And I think it's just natural. I mean, as we get older, it becomes a reciprocal thing, and we do for them as well as them doing for us. But you do rely on them literally until you can't anymore. And then you finally have to stand on your own 2 feet and let your own dependents take advantage of you. Video title. James will get it. What is life? Oh, I forgot to do a video title. Life alters all the time for good and bad. I'm coming back to haunt everyone. I want a world's fastest sperm t-shirt because I was. Oh, dear. Oh, really? Oh, I didn't know that. So that's the What is Life George Harrison song. Cheeseburger says, a video for you to record 2023 fleet review and the 2023 Mustard and Boaty do cars fleet review. Brilliant idea. I will do both of those. That is a cracking idea. No, we didn't blag lunch. But yes, there is always next time. Simone's off. Good night, everyone. Have I ever visited Jeremy Clarkson's farm shop? No. No. Oh, that's a good title. Thank you, Cheeseburger. That saved me thinking of one. House White, sir. I wouldn't recommend it. Yeah, that'll do for me. Right, that is it. I really do need to get off. I'm sure you guys do too. Staff curry for supper tonight, by the way, in case you were wondering. I'm sure you weren't. Oh, and I had a good lunch today, but hey ho. Okay, time to go. John, all of our very best wishes. We're so sorry to hear about Ray. Um, and John just messaged me to say that they'd known each other 15 years. So, as much as you grieve the fact that he's gone, then take some joy from the fact that you had those 15 years, and let's all send strength to his family and very best wishes to John, and fingers crossed for your appointment tomorrow, mate. I'll be here tomorrow night, 11 o'clock, same time, same place. John, let us know how you get on. Joe, good luck for your theory test on your PCV license tomorrow. I'm sure that'll go great, and I look forward to catching up with all of you tomorrow night, when hopefully I've got a better bottle of wine and I'm feeling a bit less zonked. And what's the weather doing tomorrow? Is it going to be as cold as it is today? I'm going in the Land Rover tomorrow. You'll see in the Daily Diary the fun I had getting to work today. All right, darlings, that's it. Have a safe and peaceful night, all. Thank you so much for joining me. Take great care of yourselves, and please have a safe and peaceful night. Keep warm, stay positive, and much love from me. I'll see you tomorrow night.